The former Charleston, South Carolina judge said that Dylann Roof's family were victims and also used the N-word in court has pled guilty to CP charges. James Gosnell Jr. pled guilty to 1 count of possession of CP involving a prepubescent minor and also 1 count of distribution of CP. But don't worry, guys. He wants everybody to know that he didn't touch any kids and he didn't have any intention to. And honestly, if you believe that, I don't know what to tell you, bro. You're gullible as shit. I don't believe that for 1 second, bro. You mean to tell me a judge with money and power and had CP and was distributing CP wasn't touching? Come on, bro. Get the fuck out of here. And honestly, at this point, we got to talk about the fact that, like, this kind of behavior is just accepted in this culture. You know what I'm saying? Like the sexual violence against women and children, and honestly, other men as well, is just accepted. And whenever they get called out about it, they try to play the victim. Like, this motherfucker was talking about, oh, my phone was hacked. My shit was hacked. And that's not mine. And he also had, I think it was like 4 or 6 additional charges dropped. And he only got 2. Like, this is just acceptable for them. He's facing 40 years, and I hope he gets every single one of them years and dies in prison, bro. This is fucking disgusting. And I think that highlighting what he said about Dylann Roof's family being victims, even though Dylann Roof was a mass shooter, taking the lives of multiple black people, you know what I'm saying, and also saying the N-word, it's very important to highlight that kind of shit, bro. Because these people become lawyers, they become doctors, they become judges, nurses, you know what I'm saying, police officers, as a way to enact violence on black folks. And also give their white counterparts ways out and to not face consequences for the things that they do to black people. Because they think that the shit that they do is okay. I hope this dude goes to prison for the rest of his life and burns in hell, man. This is disgusting.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and I can't even say that like I'm surprised. I'm not. I'm along with the young brother. I've lived long enough to hear, and I ain't never witnessed no shit like that, but I've heard shit like this has been happening to for white men for forever, right? This isn't a new phenomenon. However, I will say for us, before social media exploded information and news, it was always either urban legend or you saw it on TV and they swept this shit under the rug. And let's just say that early 90s or mid 90s or even late 90s, I think early mid 90s you didn't even have Google. Late 90s you had Google. It made it hard to, like, you could, if you had enough money, you could scrub the internet. Now with TikTok, all these goddamn social media apps, like, now it's more pronounced. You can't scrub everything, and even if you can, somebody got a copy of that shit, so it'll be back up. Sort of like porn. When I see some porn stars doing shit and they put their videos on minivid, I just wait for a goddamn Russian hacker or a Russian dude that'll buy some porn, re-upload shit on another site. So, right, it is what it is. What I will say is younger generation niggas is so much like green or sellouts or both that the only thing they know how to do is report on this shit, right? It reminds me of a little kid to see another little kid doing some bad shit and keep pointing to him. Yeah, nigga, we know. Like, what the fuck you gonna do about it, right? And that goes for all black people that point the finger and say, look what they doing. Who gives a fuck? I'm at a particular age. I don't give a fuck what another nigga's doing. It's about what you gonna do in response, right? If it's a biasness on what we do versus when they do the same shit, then there needs to be a conflict, straight up and down. If they want to wrongly injust us or give us maximum penalties in prison, but give slaps on the wrist to they people, where you bitch ass niggas that want to form your own version of the Black Liberation Army? See, when they arrested Assata Shakur, Matula Shakur, and the rest of the Black Liberation Army put together a militia, drove up to the prison with machine guns. Motherfucker ran up in there, shot a couple guards and shit, got the keys to her cell, got her out. Not only did they get her out, they got her back to safety. She was hiding in the neighborhood in New York for over 6 months. And people was giving her like safe havens, places to hide out until she got a plane ticket and got on the first thing smoking to Cuba. You bitch ass niggas will get arrested and put your hands up. Your family won't do nothing but go on social media talking about free the guy. Fuck that nigga. How about you go get him out? I don't like when black folks be talking about free this nigga, because the white people ain't gonna free your ass. They don't give a fuck about you. It's about what you gonna do in response. Now, me personally, I ain't got no close relatives that's been locked up in no gang of years, right? Because either my mama bailed my brother out, or I was able to post my own bond. I don't think my sister ever got no dirt. And the other niggas that my dad had, they not really built for the streets. One nigga went to prison, but I'm gonna keep it 100. My brother Chuck, he kind of deserved that shit. When he went to prison, it wasn't no free to guys. He was where he the fuck was supposed to be. But for the rest of these niggas talking about they wrongly unjust, well, even if you rightfully locked up, like you did that shit, your family just be on the streets talking about free that nigga, man. Fuck that. How about y'all go get them, bitch ass niggas? That's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be talking about these crackers free my peoples. Nah, you gonna let them the fuck go. Going back on track, right? I'm getting detracted. This punk ass judge. I'm not surprised that he was racist as fuck and caught with C-spam or CP. Right? And people act like motherfuckers like he had money, power, and shit, and he just a nasty motherfucker. I don't know. Once again, I don't know why people surprised. This don't surprise me in the least bit. When I think I told a story about when I worked at the W Hotel, I met a bunch of Indian dudes that made over $100,000. They weren't hurt. Niggas driving Maseratis and Porsches and shit like that, Lamborghinis. They couldn't get bitches, right? And you can't unlame a lame. Money doesn't do that. If you don't know how to talk to hoes when you broke, money won't help that. It'll just amplify what they say. Money doesn't change who you are. It just amplifies who you really are. So if you can't talk to hoes when you ain't got no money, you ain't gonna talk to them when you got money. That shit don't hold up. Oh, I got money, girl. They gonna see you as a walking lick. So he probably was a lame, and he a old what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to call him a nasty motherfucker. He's an old degenerate pervert, and he's got power, and it's typically where they at, right? Which I forgot what the statistics was, but police officers and people in law enforcement make up the highest percentage of CP or human trafficking. Yeah, it's easy to fucking get away with that shit because you the one doing the investigating, right? If you got CP on your laptop, right, you just got to make sure your wife don't ever catch wind of the shit, because ain't nobody at the station suspecting you. Same thing with mass murderers, serial killers, and motherfuckers that traffic people. If you inside the network, you know what the streets are saying, or at least the streets within that field that you work in, right? You a judge. You hear the rumblings of investigations that's happening at the police precinct. The last person they think to look for is you. So his perverted ass was doing something he ain't had no business, had material he had no business. Now, he said that he was hacked. And that's all these old fucking people favorite go-to. Jim Jones said that shit when he said some slanderous shit on Twitter about Cameron. Oh, I was hacked. Shut your bitch ass up. You really said that. This nigga no different, right? I was hacked. Yeah, who the fuck think about hacking a judge's? He at the very least, he looked like he probably got only Facebook. And nigga, you ain't got Instagram, TikTok. Who the fuck is hacking your Facebook? Right? And you know what? Playing devil's advocate for a slight second. In the world of worlds, they probably was. But you're a judge. They presided over the Dylan Roof case and was using the N-word and called his family victims. So if they did, you kind of deserved it. I'm just saying. In any event, if y'all like this episode, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out.